I've enjoyed playing the Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes mobile game for quite some time. But I've thought to myself, if I could start over, I would definitely do things differently. Thought about it, and recently started a free to play account about 3 weeks ago on October 24th. Not long after that, they dropped the news that they're going to start doubling up shards. And that was a problem in my early game experience the first time around collecting up shards for characters. So I thought, well, I've got these ideas on what I would do the second time around, ways to make things more efficient. We get to change to the shards. So I thought, yeah, let's just plan it out, see how we would do it, see if the shards make that much of a difference, and make some videos to record how it all goes. So what I'm planning is to really run an efficient account. Clean up some of the mistakes I made the first time around, see how it works out doing it differently. Efficient use of energy gems and special currency. Make sure that when we use these, we use them for the right reasons, get the right stuff. Optimize for fleet early. Fleet is where you get your Zeta materials. The longer it takes for you to get together a good fleet and start placing in the fleet arenas and getting those Zeta materials, just delays your game. These are critical for how your characters play, how your teams play. You need to get those Zeta materials. You need to get in there and start getting that right away. And there's a lot of great characters in the game that also have great ships. So all we have to do is just pick some teams that have those characters in it, and we can build fleets early. We're going to minimize our galactic power by building fewer characters. It's a tragedy in my first account. There's all these characters that I like. There's so many fun characters in Star Wars. And you want to get them up to 7 stars, and you start gearing them up. You get them to gear 9, gear 10. And then they need all of the same gear as every other character in your account. And they just kind of sit there unused. And that ends up raising your galactic power. You end up fighting against teams that are a lot bigger and better than the team that you've got because you've got all this dead weight laying around. So we're not going to do that the second time around. We're going to maximize our potential in Grand Arena by picking some characters that can really do a lot of work on their own. If you can win in these Grand Arena matches with just 1 or 2 characters against a team, get you a lot of extra points. Can really put you over the top if you both have a full clear. It comes down to who did it with less characters. So we're going to work on that. And then we're going to try to pick teams that are going to help us build towards some early legendary characters. And we're really going to focus on this Grand Arena idea. To get into the Grand Arena, you really have to have 6 teams at the lowest levels. So we're going to want defensive teams. They don't need to win. We just need to sit there and not lose. Timeout, victory when you're on defense. And some of the characters that are in the game you can get early really will stop another team. For that reason, the offensive teams then need to have enough damage to beat other similar characters and teams on the other side. Even the Phoenix, they have a lot of protection up, regeneration abilities, 2 different taunts, and it can really be hard to pick that team apart unless you have enough damage to punch through it. And we can do both of these things by having an oversized alpha character on each squad. That's the idea that you just build one really big character and put it with some trash characters. Like you can build a 7-star Grievous and give him a Zeta and put him with a bunch of crappy droids and still end up doing good work. So we're also going to try to get most of our shards from the cantina or from shards that cost special currencies in the shop. The more that we can use other types of currency to buy our character shards, the more we can use the energy from the game to do farming and get gear for the characters. And that's really what this is all about, trying to be efficient. Alpha characters, Kylo Ren unmasked. He's a monster early game. He's a monster late game. It's a great character. His ship is on the same node he is. It's pretty rare in the game. You can farm him and ship at the same time. We want that, and no regrets. He's going to be good early game, late game. Any investment that we put into him is fine. Boba Fett, Jango Fett, at relic level can solo many teams. They're able to work around taunt early game. You get one big tank out there, and these guys just kill whoever they want behind it. So it's a good way to either solo teams or with a couple of them to pick a really good team apart. Darth Vader, since his changes with this merciless massacre, he's a endgame monster as well. He's taken out galactic legends. So yeah, anything you put into Darth Vader, you're gonna be happy with that. And guess what? He's got a ship. We like ships. Let's do Darth Vader. Geonosians, great free-to-play characters. Good friendly team to build. They got 3 good ships with the Spy, the Soldier, and Sun Fac. So we're going to build them. We're going to build their ship. Enfys Nest, it takes a while to get to her node, but she's awesome. Right now I'm in Division 3 for my Grand Arena on my main account, and she's still soloing teams at that level. So worth an investment. And when I watch the guys at the highest level, they still find a use for Enfys Nest in other teams. So good investment there. For the defensive teams, 3 teams on defense, we're going to build a Sith Trooper wall. So this is going to be Kylo Ren unmasked, just a big character, lots of taunt, hard to get past. Sith Trooper is going to be the other star on this team. And Sith Trooper assists when other things get crits. So as the rest of these characters, these can be pretty mediocre characters. As long as they can feed a couple crits, get a couple assists, you're going to have him putting up a brick wall and him just doing tons of damage. That's going to be a pretty hard defensive team to get through. Again, late game, not that great, but early game, yeah, it's definitely going to be a challenge. Geonosians, same way. Early game, they are tough to get through. Late game, there's a lot of counters to them now, but we're going to start with that. Rebels, here you have Stormtrooper Han Solo. That's not that great of a character, but early game, he can certainly get your Rebel squad going and anchor a team, have these other characters behind him. This helps us work toward Commander Luke Skywalker as well. Akbar's on the team simply because we need him for the capital ship anyway. So if we're going to be working on him for the capital ship, he can join the Rebel team. For the offensive teams, we're going to build Imperial Troopers. A lot of good stuff here. Again, Stormtrooper, not that great of a character. Probably want something different in this slot, like a range trooper or something like that. But to start out with, yeah, we're going to get him because he can come out of the shop and we can get his shards without having to spend our gear energy on that. We got a mixed team over here, called it Jedi, but it's Anakin, Ahsoka, Fives. Again, Fives is a good character. He's got a good ship. There's no reason not to invest in him early. Bastila Shan could be the leader of this team if you wanted her to be. I'm probably not going to put the Zeta on her, though, so maybe she's here instead of in the lead spot. And then Barriss is another nice Galactic Republic character that you can use later on in a lot of different teams to stop high-damage teams with her interaction with crits. And then this middle part, we've got Boba Fett, Bossk, Jango Fett, Darth Vader, Enfys Nest. These are characters that we're hoping are going to be able to solo a team, or maybe one or two characters together can get through one of the teams. We're going to be building these guys anyway for other reasons. They're great utility characters, a lot of ships in here. So that's what we're going to do. The third team is going to be mostly trying to get some extra points. Out of the teams that we've already selected, then we can build teams that are functional for other areas of the game. So in the pit raid, that's the first raid that you want to start gearing up for. Put a Zeta lead on that Vader. It starts pulling back turn meter. Has a chance to every time you hit. And then you just got all of these characters to hit. Sith Trooper is constantly assisting, so you get a hit and assist, both with a chance to pull back the turn meter. You can solo the pit raid with a pretty mediocre team. Even though they're not doing that much damage, the Rancor never gets to take a turn. So you just keep pulling back his turn meter, and tickling him till he's dead. With ships, we've got Home Akbar, Home 1 here as a capital ship. We're going to do Silencer, Geospy, Geosoldier as the main 3. Later on, we'll get Sun Fac. We'll change this around. By the time we get to Grand Arena, you need 2 fleets anyway. We'll put the junk fleet on defense. We'll put one of our really good defensive teams in front of it. Hopefully, it'll never see action. And then we'll have this team with some good ships to get over there and win on offense. And then in Arena, you've got this team with Vader, Sith Trooper, Sith Marauder, Dooku, and Kylo Ren unmasked. Again, not a great team composition. This isn't something that you're going to see late game. But these are characters that we're looking to, 4 out of 5 we're looking to make a heavy investment in early game anyway, so it's just going to be the bigger characters that we have, and that should do something for us on Arena. Maybe it's good, maybe it's not, but that's what we can get out of these teams that I've picked. And what this leads us to in the future, the Geos will get big enough that we can scoop up Padme, start up another team with her. We'll have Anakin and Ahsoka, and we can build a team out of that. Maybe get Kenobi after we start doing the tank raids. The Imperial team is going to help us get R2-D2. That'll lead to Commander Luke Skywalker. And then we start filling out more bounty hunters to get that Chewbacca. And then by the time we get to the Grand Arena where you need 4 teams, we'll be able to put that Padme team on defense, bounty hunter offense. Then from there, I mean, this is talking 8 months, a year down the road. You got to pick going for Revans or going for the, I think, go straight for the Galactic Legend of Palpatine, because a lot of the stuff we're building is already a prerequisite for him. So, again, the idea is not to build wide, so we don't want to build a whole bunch of little characters for the Revans. We'd rather build big characters for Palpatine and get the Galactic Legend and just dominate whatever battle he ends up in. So one of the things we're going to try not to do, I've heard a lot of people get into this where all their characters need the same gear. And when you're working on Shards, when you're really focused on trying to get these characters to 7 stars, you're not as focused on the gear, and you end up with everybody needing the same gear. So this account, 3 weeks old, free to play so far, level 57, and I'm working on gear. So you see I've got these guys geared up, and a lot of them are waiting on level to add these gear pieces. So this isn't in too bad a shape. I don't have a whole mess of characters here that I'm trying to gear up. I'm focused on the ones that are going to be in those teams. And that, we're hoping, is going to prevent us from getting blocked on needing stun guns for everybody. We'll need stun guns for 1 or 2 people. We'll get those stun guns, and we'll get that all before we move on to the next character. I may come back 6 months later and think this is a horrible idea, but again, I think it's more efficient to do it this way, and I want to give it a try. So I'm going to focus on that. And then to control the galactic power for the purpose of the Grand Arena, we're not going to be leveling or gearing characters that aren't in the plan. So maybe we'll collect them, maybe we'll get some lucky things out of bronzium shards, things like that, and end up with characters at higher stars. That's fine. Promote them, but leave them at level 1. Don't put skills on them, don't put mods on them, just leave them at level 1. And that'll prevent us from inflating our galactic power and getting into the higher divisions before we're ready for it. So we're really going to manage that so that we can be competitive in that phase while still having fun playing the game. For gem spending, I've defined efficiency as having a plan ahead of time, right? So you get some from Arena, you get some gems from the daily quests, you get gems from the Fleet Arena. We're going to try to really push hard for those ships so that we can get some gems out of here too. That should give us 3 refreshes. We're going to do 2 energy refreshes, 1 fleet refresh. Maybe we'll change this and start doing a mod refresh out of this. Not sure. But that's where we're going to start. And then any extra gems that we get from guild events or whatever are going to go to Cantina Energy. And I do plan to drop $20 a month on this account. That's 28 Cantina refreshes at 100 gems each. That's what I'm going to use it for. And I know a lot of people will say that I don't want to spend money on the game, but I think of it like entertainment, like going to a movie or something like that. You spend money, and you're entertained for a couple hours, and you go home. Here, yeah, I mean, you're in and out of the game all month. You get all kinds of entertainment out of it, and you spend a lot more time than you would at a movie. So a lot of games have like a VIP card, a monthly membership fee, something that allows you to pay a small amount and get an advantage. Star Wars Galaxy Hero really doesn't have that, so I've decided that I'm going to do this $20 per month handshake and give them their money, give them their profit. My way of saying keep playing the game. If you don't want to spend money, that's cool too. I get it. Just play free to play. Literally the only difference between what I'm doing and what you can do is those 28 container refreshes. And in the grand scheme of things, that's not that big of a deal. So I've planned out what I'm going to do with all the shops. Again, this is kind of fun to say ahead of time, this is what I plan to do, and then execute the plan and maybe come back and rethink whether or not it was a good plan. But defining what we're going to do with our energy, like right now I'm farming those Dooku shards on 2 nodes, and then gear. If I was ever to get to a point where these characters are all stuck on gear, all my main characters that I want are waiting on level ups to get the gear in place, that would be grand, right? That would be awesome. But if I ever get to that, then of course you're going to pick Veers or one of these other hard node characters and just start working on them too. And occasionally when you're farming gear, you'll see the gear that you want on a node that also has a character that you're going to want someday. So you can farm those hard nodes for the gear too if you want to. But we're just not going to focus on getting a bunch of characters going and get a bunch of mediocre grade characters with gear in the middle. For the mod energy, we're just going to do tenacity, crit rate, and speed mods. It takes you a while to build up to the higher level mods as you're going through the game, so start with tenacity, move up to crit rate, and then speed. We're not going to do any slicing or slicing materials early in the game, and I'll show you a plan for that a little bit later. Cantina, Kylo Ren unmasked. Maybe we have to unlock Spy somewhere in here just to get that gear train started, but pretty much going to just focus on that Kylo Ren unmasked shard in that cantina until he's 7 stars and his ship is 7 stars, and then move on to the next. And then we got a bunch of cantina characters, so we're going to have to unlock them a bit at a time. For fleet, if I remember correctly from the first time I played, I couldn't really get past that first level of the fleet at first. I think I had to farm some of that sergeant ship to get my fleet up good enough to get to the second level. On the second level, you get access to Slave 1, Boba Fett ship, and Sunfax, Geonosian starfighter. So there's 2 good hard nodes there. You can farm them for a long time until you can unlock the higher level stuff. In the shipment store, we're always going to buy the first 4 items that you can buy for credits. If you look at this shop, and I've told some other people about this, and people don't seem to realize it's here or maybe see it and forget it, but if you go to your shipments, the first tab here, these first 4 pieces of gear are always for sale for credits. And like these 3 Cinar holo projectors are 2,700 credits. These Sorosub keypads are 2,700 credits. That is cheap. There's nowhere else in the game that you can access little bits of gear for so few credits. It's crazy how cheap they are. So this shop refreshes every 6 hours. I got 9 minutes left to refresh. Once that shop refreshes, I'll get in there. I'll buy all 4 of these squares every time the shop refreshes. No reason not to do that. It's gear for cheap. It helps. For the gem store, we're really not going to purchase anything else out of these stores for gems. We're not going to purchase shards for gems, again, because it's inefficient. And most of the gear that you purchase for gems is not efficient. But this Mark III Cinar holo projector, you can buy that for 300 gems. And the way I see it, even with refreshes, you can't build this item for 300 gems. So that's a good deal. That's an efficient purchase. That's the one that I found that I'm actually willing to spend gems on. But for the most part, we're just going to take our time, be patient, farm it. If you do decide to buy stuff with gems, that's fine. You're just trading time for efficiency. So if you want it now instead of waiting until next week for it, yeah, sure, buy it with your gems and just get moving on. Just realize that you could have done it more efficiently through farming, but that's fine. If time is more important to you, buy it and get going. With regards to the rest of the special currency stores, in the Cantina store, Boba Fett to 7 stars. Then we're going to work on that Stormtrooper we were talking about. In the Guild store, what we're going to do with the Guild store currency here, we're going to save up to 1,500. Now, it's not easy to save up to 1,500 in this store because we're going to keep watch and we're going to look for excellent gear that pops up. And when there's really good gear that pops up in here that we want, we're going to go ahead and buy that. But over time, you'll get to 1,500 shards. Or 1,500 currency. Every time you do, go ahead and spend 450 and grab a set of Stark shards because we need him for our team. So get him unlocked. Squad Arena store, Han Solo, Stormtrooper Han, and Akbar. Need him, Akbar for the capital ship, Stormtrooper Han for Rebel. Just kind of split it between those two and just work them up to 7 stars. Galactic War store, we're going to take Poggle to 7 stars. Remember, we're working on Geo, so we need this Poggle. And then there's a lot of other good stuff in the Galactic War store, but we're gonna put that on ice, and we're just going to focus on the Geo ships. So in the top line of the Galactic War store, the ships rotate, and every time we see a Geo ship, we want to have money in the bank to grab those and just work on those ships. Mod stores. When you get to the late game and have extra money, you can find some really good mods in here. But for early game, it just costs so much. It's not efficient. So we're going to skip this store entirely at first. Fleet Arena store. That's for Zeta mats. That's what we're going for. That's why we're trying to focus on fleet stuff early in the game. Maybe later you have to get Darth Maul shards, some stuff that is convenient to get out of here. But especially at first, we're just going to do Zeta mats. Guild event store, the Mark 1 currency. Yeah, everybody says hoard that. I think differently. You could hoard that, but if you've got a new account, free to play, cheap to play, however you want to look at it, it's going to be a long time before you're getting Malik or Gas or characters that you need those currencies for. So you could hoard it, but I'm going to go ahead and spend it on purple gear. That's going to accelerate the growth of some of my characters that I want to build up pretty big early. And once I get in decent shape with my teams, then I can start saving for characters, maybe get a Hermit Yoda, something like that. Guild event store, the second credit, if you get any of those, just save them for Negotiator Malevolence. That I feel the other way, because we'll talk about the gold gear here in a second. Championship store, there's some good stuff in here from time to time. Get what you need to help level up your characters, whatever makes sense. But for me, you can get these Mark 9 Cryotech computers out of here. You need this together with another Cryotech component a lot of times for leveling up your gear. That other Cryotech is one of the best farming nodes in the game, so I go ahead and farm that one with energy, and then I buy the shards out of here. It's a very efficient way to have both of those things for getting your characters geared up. And then for the shard store, once we get shards maxed out and start getting some currency for the shard store, I like purple gear out of this store. So there's like 6 rows in the store. The first 2 are usually gold gear, the second 2 are usually the purple gear, and these Mark II pulse modulators that I like to buy. So I really focus on that 3rd and 4th row and buy stuff out of there for Gear 12, Gear 13 characters. The reason why, yes, you can buy those gold pieces out of the shop here, but those are the best farm nodes in the game. Those, you get the gold pieces, you get purple, blue, green, money, you get so much stuff by spending energy to farm those nodes. Just farm that gear, farm the gold gear, get the purple gear out of here for lower currency and free up your money to do other things. So that's the plan for the stores. Then just to discuss why we're doing this with mods, tenacity. If we're trying to solo anything, you need tenacity. If you've got Nest and you solo against Geos or something like that, you get dazed. It's rough. So you can't get dazed, you can't get stunned. Tenacity is going to help those characters early game. Late game, yeah, things are different, but early game, these are easy to get, and they'll help us with what we want to do. Crit rate, again, later in the game, not so great, but early in the game, you got the Sith Trooper who's going to do tons of damage. In the pit raid, in defensive GAC, in arena, if you take him into arena, and that all triggers off of him, other characters getting crits, and of course him getting crits when he's shooting on assist. So we're just going to do like 3 crit sets on all these guys to get their crit up early game, and that'll change later. Similar with Geos, they have some crit synergies, so we'll farm these. It's a 2 mod set, so it's not going to waste. You'll be able to fit those in somewhere later on. Speed. That's the only 4 set mod that we're going to farm. We're just going to farm speed. You need speed later. It's not the best for a lot of characters, but again, early game, when you're fighting in Division 11, Division 10, 9, 8 of Grand Arena, you don't have to optimize your mods. So we're just going to start with speed early, A good speed mod is a speed mod with speed subs and a lot of hits on the speed subs. You have to look at a lot of speed mods and sell a lot of speed mods and get a lot of new speed mods and you just keep the cycle going to find the really truly good ones. So we're just going to start with that early, focus on it, and later in the game we can get some of those other mods going. So with a guild, you want to take advantage of the guild in the ways that you can. Getting 600 tickets helps your guild launch raids. You get 375, there's a math error there, so 375 energy per day. That's 240 just by the energy that you get for refresh rate. And then you get 3 opportunities to get 45 energy, it's 375 there. You get 285 on fleet and mod, which is 240 energy plus your 45 free ones. And then Cantina, you get 120 plus 45 free ones. This is a ton of energy. You got plenty to get your 600 tickets. So just whenever these get close to maximum, if you're looking at your account and these energy values start getting up close to maximum, get in there, run a few battles or sim a few battles, whatever you got to do. Get rid of that energy. Don't let it max out. Always have that counting up. Before you go to bed at night, zero all these out to the best of your ability and have that running overnight. Make sure you always get all the energy you can. Check the objectives screen on the last tab. People don't seem to do this, and I don't understand why. It's an easy way to again, be efficient and get more free stuff. So if you go to the objectives, all the way over to the right, you got these guild activities, and here you see, hey, can you get your 600 tickets? So people are working on that. I've spent some energy. Other people have spent some energy. Yay. This next line down, though, says, hey, for today, there's a specific guild objective for today, and that's to complete PvP attempts. Everybody gets 5 of those for free, so you're going to do your 5 PvP attempts, and that'll help you get some free guild currency, which is nice. You can see down here at the bottom, tomorrow's activity is going to be Cantina battles. So tomorrow, instead of doing refreshes on regular energy, where we would refresh this a couple times, hit that over to Cantina. Spend some more Cantina energy, use more. It's part of the daily objectives to spend that Cantina energy. That'll put you up closer to the top and get you more free guild stuff. Now, why wouldn't you do that? There's no reason not to. It's for free, and it helps. I think our minutes have passed. Here's us getting these things out of the shop. Look at this, 2,700, cheap. Look at this, 2,700. No better deal than that. Thank you, Mr. Shopkeeper. Okay. Do damage in a raid, even if you're only tickling the boss. Get on in there and put a couple damage down. Maybe there's 15 people at the bottom of the raid that never did any damage. They get a random place. So at least if you can put in some damage, you'll be at the bottom of the damage list. Maybe it gets you better reward, maybe it doesn't. Who knows? Can help. Really can't hurt. So get on in there and give them a tickle. For the requests, I would say, avoid stun guns, carbantes, stun cuffs. Everybody's asking for those same pieces of gear. And if you think about it, you give some of those away, you ask for them in return. There's just this big circle of carbantes floating around that people are trading off, and they're not really gaining any carbantes. So for me, make requests on blue materials, green materials, stuff that is going to be easy for your guild mates to go ahead and donate to you. Your requests will always get fulfilled, and you'll get what you want. Later in the game, when you're working on relics, you need all kinds of weird gear. So you can ask for a bunch of 10 pieces of green gear, and as soon as people give it to you, you go in there and make bronzium wiring out of it, and you feel good about yourself. So that's how I treat the guild requests. And then credits are a bottleneck. You always got issues with credits. I remember that from the first time starting my main account. Man, I was always out of money. But again, like I said, I wasn't very efficient about all the characters. I was trying to level up and put mods on, and wasted a lot of credits. So to reduce that, a few tricks, things that I'm going to do. There's all these daily objectives. If you just pay attention to that, click on them, go through, look at your objectives, make sure one by one that you get all these done every day. That'll help you with credits. It'll help you with other stuff. So we'll do that. Often you can farm gear off of two different nodes, so you'll always want to take the higher node. The money does go up as you go up in nodes. The harder it is, the more currency you get from it. And then for mods, we're going to not waste money on bad mods, and in fact, we're going to sell the square, the circle, and the diamond that are gray at first. So if we go in, we scoop up a bunch of mods, we're going to come in here, and we're going to look at mods, and these, the square, the diamond, and the circle, once we start getting 5-dot mods, these gray mods we're going to sell. I've made a lot of good mods from gray mods. You know, you put a few levels on them, see what you get. Maybe you get something good. Maybe you get speed on a speed mod. You start slicing it up, you get a really great mod. So that happens. But it really takes a lot of resources. And at first, we're really going to try to minimize the amount of resources. So we're going to sell these, the gray ones that we get, and we're going to get credits from them, and that is going to allow us to work with some of the other mods. Now, if you get, purple mods, blue mods, gold mods over here, you can develop those real cheap, and even if you get some mediocre ones, you can use those later on secondary characters. So we do that, and again, we're not going to. I guess I didn't have it over here. So these are the mods we're going to sell: the square, the diamond, and the circle. We're going to get rid of the mods on this side, the gray ones. All right. So we're not going to waste money on bad mods, and that's also going to help us not switch mods all the time. And it costs money to keep trying to upgrade, get better mods. So we're going to work on the mods offline. By the time we put them on the characters, we're going to already know that they're decent mods, and then we're going to try to leave them until we really have a better set. May occasionally need to use the squad arena for credits. I feel like the first time on my main account, there were a few times where I got credit blocked and just couldn't seem to get enough credits to do what I wanted to do. There is an option here. It costs 2,000 of this squad arena store currency to get 1,000,000 credits. That's really a bad trade. After they do the double shards, each one of these is going to be worth 10. You'll be giving up 50 shards of something to get this 1,000,000 credits. So if I'm desperate, maybe I'll do it. I remember doing it when I leveled up my first account, but who knows? It's an option there if we need it. Then after the first few teams are established, we're going to keep these characters at low levels. So that's the plan. So I've planned out everything I'm going to do with characters, everything I'm going to do with the shops, how I'm going to farm the gear. And maybe I'll come back, 6 months, 8 months from now and be like, man, this didn't work, and have some revisions on what I would do if I did it over a third time. But I think buying the gear this way and focusing on farming what's efficient to farm and using the shops to purchase the stuff that's less efficient to farm, I think we could get a few characters really to a pretty good level and geared out pretty well. So as this account goes along, I'll make some more videos and I'll see how this whole big plan works together. And see you later.